Yeah. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We're back.
Yeah, we back, man. It has been an eventful Monday, to say the least.
For sure.
Yeah. How's everybody? Everybody good?
For sure.
Yeah, I still got my soul. DeepSeek didn't take my soul.
They take not for sale?
Still intact. Nope, not at all.
That's a fact. Welcome back to Market Mondays, everybody. Check out Blackout this Wednesday. Shout out to everybody that watched Blackout last week. That episode's been going crazy. So we back Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We gotta, we're gonna have some interesting conversations for sure.
For sure.
There's about 17 different things happening per day.
Interesting news cycle.
Oh man.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. And then this Thursday we got a special episode of EYL Back to the How To series. We got Kiana Watson, and we're gonna be going over things to know before buying a home.
Very important.
So we're gonna have a whole checklist of everything from the earnest money to how to actually estimate how much interior design is going to cost, as far as the kitchen, the bathroom, the home inspections, like everything to know.
Contractors, all that.
Everything to know before buying a home. So if you're in the home buying process, or you have an idea that you want to buy a home this year, this is a very important episode. Everything you need to know before buying a home. We're going to go over the whole checklist. So that's at 9 o'clock this Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this Thursday.
Yeah, this is one of them episodes where not only is it going to save you time, but more importantly, it's going to save you money.
Because, a lot of money.
Oh my gosh, just the home building process, the home buying process is tedious if you don't know what you're doing. So here's your step-by-step booklet. Make sure y'all tap in.
All right. Okay. Ian, any announcements?
Yes, if you want to get rich from the market and don't want to get faked out by DeepSeek, shot the Meta hitting the all-time high, Apple being on a tear, go to ianinvest.com. I put prices out last week. On those prices, I told you where Nvidia is going to drop to. We hit there today. If I've made you money, please put yes in chat. Tune in to Blackout. Amazing episode. We'll be bringing more of that energy all year. So stay tuned, and I love y'all dearly. And my lawyers are on the prowl for all you intellectual property thieves. He said, I probably can get you easy about 6-7 million. I said, bring it to me. Come get some, you little bums. So let's have an amazing episode. Glad to be back. A lot is happening in the market, so let's break it down.
Yeah. Before we do our announcement, first and foremost, congratulations to all you Philadelphia Eagles fans. Congratulations. I got all your text messages. I'm okay. I'm doing okay. Shout out to y'all. And obviously, shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs. 15 did it again. 15 is a dangerous man.
That pass interference, though.
15 a dangerous man. So congrats to them. And y'all know how this works, man.
Shot.
Oh, wait. Well, I'm saying the Chiefs. Everybody know he's now a Chiefs fan.
But we got to still give him praise on the win, yo.
Oh yeah. Congratulations to the Chiefs and you for being a supporter of the Chiefs. For you changed the year now. You say 80 now. It's 98.
True. 80. I was born in 84. There's no way I was a fan of somebody in 80. That's humanly impossible.
Not humanly impossible. Not humanly impossible.
How are you a fan before you were born?
I said 88. He was born in 88.
In a parallel universe.
No, he was born in 84. Here's how it's humanly possible. You were born in 84. In 88, you was a fan.
So I was 4 years old. You
I've been
came and comprehend things.
It's not true because I've been a Commanders fan now since 87 when they won the Super Bowl, and I was 5. So it's humanly possible. But congrats to the Chiefs. It is a rematch, and I don't have to ask who you're going for. It should be an interesting game. So I'm okay.
Chiefs about 14 points, yo.
14, okay. And rest in peace. Yesterday was the 5th anniversary, and I hate to call it an anniversary of Kobe Bean passing. So rest in peace to him and the 9 people and families that were affected by that tragic day 5 years ago. Horrific. And so rest in peace to him and everybody who is dealing with the loss from that. And you know how this works, man. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Continue to do the research, share the research when it's great research, run it back, and keep spreading the research and build community. Let's make some money. Love is love.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, stock market down heavy today. Chip stocks, for sure. But let's talk about the Trump ETF before we get into that. So the Trump ETF looking like there's a pathway for it.
Told you.
So what's the deal with this?
I gave you guys some insight that I think after the success of the Trump coin. Shout out to all of you who are holding the bag at an all-time high. The next move would be to have a Trump ETF, and I think the obvious players would be Meta, Microsoft. You got to throw in Larry at Oracle. And I felt so bad for Salesforce because I don't know how they turned the ship around. Nvidia, I think AMD is going to have an amazing year despite shipping technology with DeepSeek in it.
Allegedly.
And a few people, allegedly, according to inside reports. But a lot of people have been asking me if this ETF is pushed, should it be allowed, and should you invest in it if you're Black? We can have that conversation for another day. I think you guys know our stance on that. But the thing that I did find interesting with this DeepSeek situation, it feels like they're trying to find the new iteration of the Mag 7, and that ETF could be it. I don't think it's fair. But in the land of lawlessness, what is fair?
Yeah, I'd add. I mean, it makes sense that Tesla would be inside that ETF.
For sure. I mean, that goes without saying, but yes.
Yeah. Funny enough, I feel like Truth Social will be inside this ETF. I think this is another way for people to invest in a company.
I wouldn't be mad at them.
Right? Like, why wouldn't you just add that? Now, it doesn't have to have the largest allocation. And if you look at ETFs, some of them have 50 positions, right? And the allocation is just kind of spread out based on the growth of the companies. But I mean, I could see a world where that is inside of it at a smaller allocation,
2% or 5%.
And if we're seeing any signs of what quote unquote retail and institutional done inside of the meme coin, when people have access to an ETF, will there be similar enthusiasm? Perhaps. So, I mean, if people pour into that ETF, even at the smallest allocation, the valuation of that company is going to go up. So it'd be interesting to see, man. I know they were trying to ban government officials from investing in the stock market.
Never going to happen.
I don't think that's going to fly anymore.
They should have Pelosi as senior advisor if they do put one together, because she is on fire. Oh, Broadcom will probably be in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Microsoft, like you said, any company that's affiliated definitely with the initiatives that he's been speaking of. And we spoke about some companies last week in terms of industrials, and you saw the Spider industrial ETF have a great week last week. We saw Caterpillar rise last week. RTX is reporting this week. These are the type of companies, man, when we're talking about defense and we're talking about cybersecurity. Palo Alto had a great week last week. CrowdStrike is running up. All the cybersecurity space. So those are the type of companies, when he's talking about making America, quote unquote, great, it's tough to use the word again. These are the companies you should be looking at. And if he puts those inside the ETF, there's a reason why.
What companies won't be in an ETF? That's the real conversation.
Who won't be?
Salesforce, probably not. And I like Mark, but
it'll be there.
You think so?
Yeah. Business is business. Right? Like Meta is I mean, you're talking about top 5 in terms of market cap. Meta and
Salesforce?
Oh no, you talking about Salesforce? Oh, Salesforce.
Yeah. Oh no, Meta gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Salesforce there. That's questionable. But it's interesting. Like if you watch it, I'm talking about Salesforce for the past maybe 4 years ago, and then I kind of was like, you know what, I'm leaving Salesforce. It's just not moving. But it's related to the AI story, the same way everything else is. in terms of
it's
like, yes, we know the computing standpoint, we know the energy standpoint, we know the connectivity standpoint. There's also a software component, like how are and where are we placing these things into application. From an enterprise standpoint, Salesforce is that, right, in terms of enterprise CRMs. And then obviously HubSpot, we spoke about that for the past 2 years at a smaller scale. And we've seen that run. And so that's why you're starting to see that company move, that stock move in the way it's been moving over the past 6 months. And, every quarter, it seems like over the past 2 or 3, they're growing at a nice rate. So,
yeah.
So, okay. So let's talk about Meta, $60 billion investment. Mark Zuckerberg is committed to Meta infrastructure over the next few years. Meta's stock rallied. They doubled their CapEx spending and their stock rallied. Friday
yep.
And today as well. As you said, all-time high. So, this is counter to what most people would have probably expected if you double CapEx spending. But why is Meta's stock at all-time highs?
I mean, combination of things. Incredibly well-run company since 2022. And this is the thing, when everyone was messaging me about DeepSeek, I'm like, okay, you take Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, and Meta, who have the greatest compute power in the history of the world, and you think they missed with that algorithm and the real quants that they have in there, what the CapEx is worth? Like, here's an investment secret. Most people who put money out are looking to get 10x back. So with them spending this, it's the race of it's a race of capital, because if they don't put the money out, you can be a laggard and end up falling behind like a Salesforce, like AMD did, etc. I think it's a great spin, but it's the number one media company in the world. I think they have more watch time than any other network, whether it's linear or digital. Profit margins are looking better than ever, and they're investing into the future. So in 22, I was very critical, but you have to give them credit for taking the money out of the metaverse and put it into a real physical infrastructure to have a lead there. Like, I know that season he messed up, and man, he's been on fire ever since he's been doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He seemed to have some, added vigor after being at the inauguration. He got a little motivation, you know what I mean? So he's not talked about in the same breath as Steve Jobs and Tim Cook and Bezos, but this time we start having that conversation about the turnaround he did since 2022, and it's one of the greatest comebacks ever.
It's been a miraculous comeback. At that time, he had just announced that he was going to spend $50 billion over the next 5 years inside the metaverse. We kind of swept that under the rug, went in front of Congress. We forgave him, and now Meta has just been on a tear. The $60 billion investment obviously is built around AI, data centers being one of the main focal points, and the global footprint. And we spoke about this over the past couple of weeks. They're on pace to do that based on all their innovation. But here's the interesting part, and that's why I think I almost called it deep fake, but the DeepSeek. The DeepSeek thing
is slip. There's some truth in there.
It's interesting, right? When you look at its competitors inside the Mag 7 space, Amazon has committed to spending over $75 billion. Last year they spent $75. They've committed that their capex is going to be higher than $75 billion in 2025. Microsoft just said that they're planning to invest about $80 billion in the 2025 fiscal year. So they're actually spending less than some of the other Mag 7s. Why are they spending less? Because a lot of their infrastructure is in-house. And we kind of went over this. Shout out to everybody that was in the class on Thursday. But Meta has built things in-house, right? A lot of the infrastructure is in-house and they're doing their thing. So their spend is not going to be as vital or as robust, as other companies. But there are some companies that they need to build out infrastructure. And we kind of went over that as well. But they're right in line with what Mag 7 is doing. So again, when you think about what's happened since the last time we were here, $500 billion invested in OpenAI, obviously Oracle and SoftBank combined to create Stargate, $500 billion, right?
Yes.
We saw the president talk about getting money from the Saudis up to $1 trillion.
I thought it's going to be higher.
For infrastructure.
Yep.
We just talked about $65 billion for Meta. $80 billion for Microsoft, 80 plus for Amazon, and then there's a company that says we did it for $5 million.
Cap.
It's just, I mean, it's interesting.
Like, you think all of these companies with all of this great executive leadership, and once again, they have the model. You think all of them misprice what the costs are? Like, come on. And this is a startup. The Chinese stock market has been gridlocked since 2021. Let's take it to their country. You think Alibaba, Tencent, all those great companies that are there missed this build?
Yeah, so
for a $6 million build, like, well, this is a startup. Let's be real. They lied. What Flex said? You lied.
Or
worship.
So I got trust issues with China stocks. It's well documented. It's well documented. I have even more trust when it comes to numbers that come out of China, because that story's been well documented as well. In 2020, Luke and Coffee, go do the history on that. But did they lie? We'll see. Time will tell that. But have they cracked the code on efficiency? Now that could be something we can open the door with, right? Like, maybe we don't have
an open source.
Open source, the amount of spend for compute, maybe the amount that has to be spent isn't as much, but money needs to be spent. And I don't think anybody in the tech space is looking at that and saying this is impossible.
Well, regardless of whether it's real or not, it definitely had a real impact on the market.
For sure.
So this brings us to the main topic of today, where tech stocks crashed, specifically chip stocks. Nvidia down 15%. SMH down tremendous amount. ASML down. TSM down tremendous amount. So in a very short period of time. And there's been a lot of people that have said that AI bubble would end at some point. Mike Novogratz being one of them, saying that not artificial intelligence wasn't real, but it was overpriced, overhyped, and it was going to be a catalyst at some point in time to kind of bring things back to the level of reality. So this DeepSeek thing comes out and shoots to the top of the App Store overnight, pretty much. A Chinese app company that they said achieved workable function at a very high level. Some say even better than OpenAI for $6 million, a fraction of the cost of the billions of dollars that's been poured into all of these companies, including OpenAI. And it shakes the whole industry and make people think that maybe not that Nvidia is not a valuable company, but maybe their products are overhyped and overvalued as far as how much money is being poured into the space. And then for other companies that have not even done anything yet, but still have been able to raise a bunch of money from venture capital. So all of these chip stocks are down drastically. So, like I said, even if they're forging the numbers a little bit, or it's not, it definitely speaks to some level of pessimism that people have been talking about. We've been talking about this for a while, as far as the AI bubble, for at least 18 months. So I don't think that these companies just disappear overnight. But the question that everybody has is, okay, is this a sign of what's to come? Is this is a reset, and it's going to be just a lot slower growth for these companies? Is it a good time to buy the companies? That's the next question as well.
Yes, shameless plug. Go to eatinvest.com if you want to know where to get into the market, where to get out. I put this price in, I think, 2 weeks ago for Nvidia. As far as it being a reset, the top 2 or 3 players in the space will remain that they'll be dominant. But I think, and I don't want to be flippant about the DeepSeek allegation, but I want to be clear. It's almost okay if you run it through their model. Can't wait for the mastermind, because I'm going to show you some of the prompts that I use for investing. The mathematical probability of being able to get this compute out of $6 million is 0.00001% probability. So not me. That's their own tech. When I ran my model, and based on CapEx spend of other companies. Now, is there AI bubble? I think there's a lot of companies that don't have any real AI yet have acted like they do, and they're going to fall apart. So yes. But will Nvidia be fine? Yes. Meta be fine? Yes. Will Oracle be fine? Yes. Will AMD be fine? Yes. And a lot of people who kept calling for this AI bubble are people who missed out on buying Nvidia. The same dirty Mac and Elon did over that Stargate project, what got stolen from Microsoft, and he's mad because he didn't get part of that spend. So in order for DeepSeek to be great, let's just go through some of them and say that they are better. They got to be OpenAI, O1 Mini, Gemini 1.5, Claude, Nova Pro, Llama 3 and 3.3, GPT 4.0, GPT 4.0 Mini. It's a lot of competition. So is the AI bubble overhyped? I think there are too many companies who attach themselves to be AI facing, and they weren't. But Nvidia, no. And also, too, it's a conversation about interest rates that people are afraid of, and I think this just took the leadership cycle. And for everyone who said you found the next quant company, why are you afraid of DeepSeek? Because quantum is superior. If you found the quant company that are going to rule the next 20 years, why are you asking me if you should sell off your quant position because of DeepSeek? It makes no sense.
I think
I would firm on this.
I think the question that can you create innovation without advanced hardware? That's the question, right? Like, is it possible? And so when we're talking about advanced hardware, you're talking about the Nvidias, you're talking about the Broadcoms, you're talking about the AMDs, you're talking about the Micron. Like, that's advanced hardware. Now, is Nvidia overhyped? I can't use the word overhyped because they're still going to be necessary, even for DeepSeek. If you look at how it's built, it still needs the GPUs. Does it need as many GPUs is the real question, but you're still going to need them. And so that's the first thing. And then is this a war to who's first, right?
Absolutely.
So like if China is saying like, hey, we have this company and we can do it for this efficiency, then when you try to use it today, why can't we use it if it's a global thing, right? So like there's that part of it. And then it talks about efficiency from our standpoint. Like I said, think about the amount of money that's been allocated. Last week, we talked about $500 billion. That was for AI expansion, data centers, and everything adjacent to it. Energy, we saw Vista go down today. We saw VRT move down today. We saw GEV move down today. All these are energy components, Broadcom connectivity, Arista. All these things pulled down because of this quote unquote efficiency. The other thing is this, man. People want new buy-in points, right? Like the market has to fall so people can buy in.
Absolutely.
If DeepSeek was created in December of 2023, if it was this efficient, is it coincidental that this announcement is happening after all those, everybody said that they're going to have their CapEx, and it's the same week of these Mag 7 earnings? Meta's reporting this week, Apple's reporting this week, Microsoft's reporting this week. In 2 weeks, Nvidia will be reporting. Big companies reporting with their numbers and what they've been spending. Coincidental? I don't know.
So, okay.
And the real conversation is, were they able to get some of those GPUs in China that they were not supposed to get in for the infrastructure? Now, that's a conversation that needs to be had.
Oh, during the ban.
Allegedly.
Well, the thing about it is that you never buy stocks at all-time highs.
Facts.
So that stocks always pull back for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between a pullback and a reset. Because a reset, you can actually just reset the whole landscape, and it could change potentially forever, as opposed to a pullback, which would just pull back for the second and then just go back to things as normal. So the question is, will things be as normal, or will it be a reset in the space? Like I said, I don't think anybody doesn't think Nvidia is not going to be here anymore. But will it be a reset in the space where chip stocks will not be leading like they were?
And in the cycle of America, what could replace it? It's a great question. But what will replace it? I think Nvidia is here to stay. AMD, I think, is going to have a monster year. But when people talk sector rotation, and some people tell me, well, banking is doing better. I'm like, you're not going to go buy Bank of America. I mean, shout to Brian Moynihan, amazing person. You're not buying Bank of America over AMD. Like AMD is neck and neck with Apple in terms of returns over the last 5 years. It's not talked about because of what sector they're in. So would there be a reset? I've been really big on, I don't think the energy companies are going to do what they did last year. So Nvidia would do well. AMD would do well. Meta would do well as a result. Tesla will do well. They have a lot of compute over there as well. But everyone just slapping AI on their stock to make the value go up. Yeah, that's over with.
I'm on the record saying I believe energy will do well. Will it have 50, 60% gains? Nobody can call that. Will it do well? Yeah. From the standpoint of what we're talking about, efficiency. How do we make energy more efficient if we know that it's going to cost us this amount to have this type of compute? And not just in the GPU space, but if you're even talking about in the crypto space as well, like that still requires energy to run at its highest and most efficient capacity.
For sure.
So like, even like I said, like when we talked about this data center revolution, like they originally were housed to, and they were mining Bitcoin, right? When you saw how much energy it took, we have to create more efficient ways to have connectivity, to have coolant. All that is inside of it. Now, obviously, with AI being at the forefront, yeah, it's dual purpose in the sense where like, hey, we need it for this too. So I still think energy is going to be a story this year.
So, okay. So let's speak even a little bit clearer for the people. What stocks do you think would be good buys?
Nvidia, Apple, Meta.
Let's go a little deep dive.
AMD.
I'm the advocate for the people, and I know what the people will say. So, what's the stocks that are not in the Mag 7? Look, Troy, because you've championed a lot of these other companies. So, these companies that are not in the Mag 7, are you still confident about these companies, or are you starting to feel a little bit nervous?
No, I'm still confident.
Well, all right, which of these companies would you be enthusiastic about tomorrow morning buying? Because all of them are down. Like we got.
I'm still in TSM. That's not a Mag 7.
No. I'm talking about the VSTs.
Well, you said Mag 7.
Okay. The lower ranking.
Yeah, VST. Yeah, I actually went.
MU.
Yeah, so I went shopping. Even right, like so when, and again, it's one of these mindset things, right? We see a pullback like that. I woke up, I saw Nasdaq was down 800 points. I'm like, all right, we already have some money in reserves. Now let's see if we can get some of these price points that we were saying prior to. And so when I saw VST get down to a number, I was like, oh, it had ran up to 199 last week. I'm like, damn, it might have outran me. I saw it go back down to 148. I'm like, all right, well, it's back in the range where I wanted to get it at. So I went shop. I did grab some VST because I still think energy is going to be a story. We spoke about this on the Thursday call about a company that, I mean, if we look at its chart over the past 6 months and we look about the story in AI, it pulled back to a point, and I'm like, all right, down at 110. Let me go grab some contracts down there, and that is Arista Networks, ANET, and so I think the story stays the same for at least 2025 for sure. But again, when we do these contracts, I'm going out for a lot further with maximum potential growth, right? And so
you're still confident in all your companies?
I'm still in. I actually went shopping today. I'll be honest with you. I went shopping.
And what'd you buy?
I'll show you in a second. You want to see it? So I bought more. I bought VST because it got to a point. I bought VRT, right? Again, energy as well, and talking about cooling for the data centers. So I'm still in the data center revolution. I got more contracts on TSM because that's pulled back. I already had the 105 that I exercised, and I talked about that on the class. I had a 180. We went down and got some more down at the 195 range, and I got one more. I don't even know if it got full. I'll chat. I'll fill you in when I open up my brokerage. But I definitely got those three for sure, and then I had one that was just pending.
And I'll play devil's advocate to my own position. The threat that DeepSeek does pose is open source. But what happens when Trump knocks on somebody's door, maybe Elon's, and say, hey, make Grok AI open source so we don't have to deal with this threat in China? Then what? DeepSeek, you're screwed. I'll wait till the second hour to curse. Thank you to the families and the parents that watch with your kids. Love you. My heart goes out to you.
My fourth one was Palo Alto. I bought more.
But they do have an advantage of education. They have smart people.
1,000%.
And they have a unified government. They have a lot of you can't just count.
Wake it up, Rashad. You're right.
You can't count them out.
No, I'm not counting it out. Because it's either a couple of things are going to happen, right? Like either American companies are going to say, hey, they're onto something and we've got this wrong and they have to cut back spending, right? But then that spending is going where, right? These are the CapEx numbers already for 2025. So this money is already been allocated out, right? So by the time we see it, it's already been spent, right? So like when Nvidia reports, Meta has already spent the money with them, right? Like Microsoft has already spent the money with them by the time we see the report. So what does that look like for 2026? We gotta really monitor this.
We'll see.
And you know who didn't have all this CapEx in AI? Manzana. My favorite investment move is when people get to pitching me things that I don't need. Let me wait 3 months to 6 months to see if I still want it. Apple is on fire today as a result. And the thing is, too, and I keep stressing this, it's not the sexy media answer. A lot of you needs to stop chasing the next new thing week to week. I just thought y'all loved quantum and that bullshit collection of stocks. Sorry to the parent.
Sorry to the parent.
Like, yo, what do we like?
Yeah, but even Apple pulled back, right? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we saw Apple run up to 253. We spoke about it. We're like, where's the innovation? It pulls back down to 225, and people are like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
but I mean, it's a big week for Apple.
For the long term.
Yeah. Obviously, long-term vision, you're looking at this as a great opportunity for a buy point, but this is a big week for Apple. We'll see what happens on.
Rashad, I agree with your point. The only thing in a SWOT analysis that we have to remember is that their own leadership are keeping. They have some amazing companies that are publicly traded, and they've kept them quiet the last 3 years. I don't think they're gonna let this one flourish.
Censorship.
Either. If it wasn't for that, my stance would be different. I would have Baba over Amazon. I would be worried about Sam Altman and OpenAI, but it's their own leadership that are keeping those companies suppressed.
And they own the IP. Like I was read a little bit about it. Like they own the IP of everything that's put into it in their chat box. So if they create something for you, it owns it, right? And it owns anything that you put on it is no longer yours. Like if you prompt it, all the data is theirs, and all the information, and that's something that's different from
perpetuity.
Yeah.
So, all right. So so if you feel confident, and the safer bets would be Nvidia and TSM, and what other companies is down? Microsoft is down.
They all took a hit today.
You can't go wrong with Microsoft.
Can't.
Unless, what happens if they lose OpenAI?
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
20.
They don't have to get it back in blood. Won't happen.
The contract is over in 2030. Now I'm just saying, Ian, the contract is up in 2030 for 49% ownership. We have seen Sam with a multi-billionaire over the past couple of weeks by the name of Larry Ellison. He has already partnered with him on Stargate, which means that they are opening to new partnerships. What happens if they lose OpenAI?
I mean, it won't matter.
The same thing that happens with every artist when they have that one last album they got to turn in before they free, and then we freeze it. We seeing the boy go through it right now.
They're gonna be
Sam.
They're gonna be public. They're gonna be public by then. So
OpenAI,
for sure.
They're gonna get forced to go public. So they're gonna go public before 2030. And
what you think? 27, 20, right when we need it.
Yeah. So if anything, worse come to worse, they sell that position and they make hundreds of billions of dollars and then reinvest the money in something else.
DeepSeek.
Deepfake
2.0.
I'm gonna go get one to look like the other one.
Yeah, they got the cat. I mean, you talk about reserves. It's who's number? Is Apple number one, Microsoft number two in terms of reserve?
Yeah,
Nvidia's climbing up there. Yeah.
Another pullback today was crypto as a whole. Bitcoin down $5,000, broke back into the 90s, 99.
For the 99.
And it's been hovering around the 90s to the mid 105, like 105, 104 for a while now. My personal thing is, I just feel like if it gets into the 80s, you gotta be attracted to Bitcoin.
Load up, right?
80s, 86, 88. But that's another question that people have. Is it a good time to buy crypto? Because we do see XRP back under $3. We see Bitcoin under $100,000. We see Ethereum still down a little bit. So for crypto, is it a good time to start buying crypto?
I did like you said, low to boat price like 88,000, 87,000. But if it breaks to 92,300, I like it. But the thing is, if you're going to hold for a 5-year period and Bitcoin is averaging 100% a year, it would be a good time to buy. But anytime it's at the top, 108, 107, stay away. Like, just go to any chart. If it's at the high, you don't want to buy if it's within 5% of their range. No one should be shocked about this. I'm wondering why people think that DeepSeek caused the crypto market to drop, which tells me institutions are taking some profit. A lot of capital starts to go into the market late February, early March. And then we have a run up until the summertime. July and August are usually light. September, the market goes back up. So follow the cycles. This applies to crypto since they bought out the entire crypto space. No decentralization. But yes, long term, it would be a good time to start to look at prices to buy for crypto.
To it. Right to it.
Yeah.
Different type of
what is top 4 dividend stocks?
Man, I wanted to answer this, and I mean, of course, there's 4 in there that I put, but I think it would be irresponsible to give 4 when there are other stocks that are outpacing and giving higher returns. So just Bitcoin on surface, Nvidia on surface. VYM, of course, is 1. CHY, VNQ, and IEF are 4. But if Bitcoin is outpacing, I hate to even bring this name up, but if MicroStrategy is outpacing, if Meta is outpacing, this is my point, do you even need a dividend play now?
Well, MicroStrategy is interesting because that's a company we just found out might have billions of dollars a tax bill, and Bitcoin's down $5,000, but the stock's not really down that much today. It didn't go down as drastically as
much as it could have.
And they bought another $1 billion of Bitcoin today.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they're holding the line, and they have no signs of retreat. They're still buying Bitcoin, and there's still confidence in them, obviously, because they haven't,
well,
fell off a cliff.
In order to, so yes, this is true. I thought it would be pulled down a little bit further today, but that bill is coming, right? That allegedly it's supposed to be like a $19 billion tax bill, right? For gains. Where, in order to get that capital, you would think they would have to sell some Bitcoin, no?
Nah, I mean, there's nothing they can roll over.
Yeah, they just gonna offer. They said they offer preferred stock. I think they gonna as far as the guy is very smart as far as how he's been able to raise money. So, and I think they'll be able to leverage their Bitcoin as well.
They're gonna use that as leverage. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that and I don't think that's gonna happen because they've already met with Trump.
That could be the other part.
So
helps a lot.
Yeah,
knowing that guy helps.
I think that they'll be able to maybe smooth it out. But MicroStrategy is interesting. It's interesting for sure. Yeah. I mean, they brought $1 billion of Bitcoin today. So
20 on the hook.
That's tough.
Different. And I put some of the like old stalwarts. I dividend stocks. I don't really invest in dividend stocks, but in addition to the ones you said, I'll just add those. Verizon, always a good option if you're doing dividends. Johnson & Johnson. These are like these old guard
legacy.
Exxon, Chevron, PepsiCo. These are legacy companies, but they do produce a dividend.
Yeah, and even though it's an older model. I think when the market isn't as fractured and there's hyper concentration, whatever the people used to mention, the ticker O, Income Realty, which I think is a bad stock but paid a high dividend. When you have companies that are giving you 60 and 70% per year, there's almost no need for a dividend. And Apple and Microsoft pays a very small dividend as well. But whatever you miss out on investing in a company that pays a higher dividend but drops 20% a year, you're going to make up for it in having a higher quality company.
That's for sure.
So, yeah.
All right. So not to harbor this point, but before we just completely go off of this topic forever,
maybe not.
I think it was interesting. We did post about this today, where the CEO is out in Davos. You know, they got the Davos going on right now. So the CEO of Scale AI said that it's his understanding that DeepSeek has about 50,000 Nvidia H100s, which they cannot discuss. We can actually play the clip if we can.
Yeah, and
we play the clip.
Yeah,
let's play the clip.
Yeah.
Chinese labs, they have more H100s than people think. You know,
these are the highest powered Nvidia chips that they were not supposed to have.
Yes, my understanding is that DeepSeek has about 50,000 H100s, which they can't talk about obviously because it is against the export controls that the United States has put in place. And I think it is true that, you know, I think they have more chips than other people expect, but also on a go forward basis, they are going to be limited by the chip controls and the export controls that we have in place.
Okay, so
let me just give quick context. So when people talk about that H1 was the GPU prior to Blackwell. So that's what people were using prior to Blackwell. And obviously Rubin will be the predecessor after that. So that's what that chip is.
Okay, so interesting because like I said, you know, I don't want to harbor this point. But
it's important.
Maybe you know, maybe this thing is deeper than it appears to be.
Yes.
If they have 50,000
do the math
of these things, and they can't talk about it because, like I said, Nvidia's actually TSM actually got in trouble for that before when they was sending chips to China
to both,
and it was against U.S. policy, and U.S. actually obviously takes care of Taiwan's safety, so they apologized for that. They actually said they didn't really know how that happened.
Yeah,
and
the Nvidia there was a ban. They didn't know. Allegedly, they know. And then Nvidia, the government put a ban on Nvidia from shipping out their GPUs to China, and not just Nvidia though, AMD as well. And so they created an alternative chip that they can use in that market. Alternative
Red
chip.
Magic.
Not the blue magic.
Yeah.
So when he speaks of these GPUs, I like the wording there. To my understanding, which means my understanding could be wrong.
Yes.
But just to my knowledge. But the math ain't mathing, right? If DeepSeek saying it took 6 million to get their GPT off the ground, well, 50,000 of those chips at an average price of 30,000, because that's what those H1s were going for. I mean, just off the top, that's like 1.5 billion.
Yeah, but to Rashad's point, I won't speak for you, Rashad, but I think you're alluding to they weren't trying to give up that secret, and this CEO did, which is like, why are you dirty macking on their business? Trump gonna send that plane right around.
Circle it back. Circle it back.
Yeah. So for sure, I think we all can agree the investment was higher than 6 million for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all agree? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
And the real threat, if we're gonna belabor this point, is Chinese software infiltrating American economies in Trojan horse kind of ways. So if AMD does ship out a chip with DeepSeek on it for cheaper with the same kind of compute, and TikTok just got bought and Red Note is being elevated, there is a concerted effort on the technological side in China to make our apps popular. And for the record, once again, everything you put in DeepSeek, they own and the CCP owns. So if you're putting up your relaunched podcast, they're going to own the rights. If you're a showrunner and you put in season 4 of Landman and you try to write your show, they're going to own it. So, and it's in the terms of service. Please be careful. But I am interested in seeing the Chinese Trojan horse that comes out of these situations over the next year.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It says this is what it says about DeepSeek. Its terms grant the company broad rights over content users submit, including the ability to modify, publish, and sub-license it, which can pose risks for privacy and IP. DeepSeek claims ownership of the AI-generated outputs, potentially limiting users' control over the content created by the platform.
I need a new lawyer. Their lawyer.
Fine print.
Their lawyer fire. Yo, what? For 2 lifetime? Ooh, boy. Okay,
Yeah.
put the ideas in there, and then they remix your whole idea. Kanye, don't load that new album up in there.
Please
don't.
Modify and publish.
That's crazy.
$300 billion market cap loss. Biggest recorded drop for any company ever.
I feel like that's like a theme over the past 2 years. It's like going back and forth. Like we saw this with Meta. We saw it with Microsoft. Now we're seeing Nvidia. This is the second time for Nvidia. I feel like it was the largest removal of equity in a company in the past, ever in history. I think Microsoft had the record, then Nvidia broke the record, then Meta broke the record, and now here we go with Nvidia. And each time, what has happened since?
I mean, what I will say, there is not enough balance in the U.S. stock market. Like,
no.
Over the last 2.5 years, we haven't mentioned the Russell 2000. Very little, even though the DAX is doing well, a little conversation about the German DAX. There's and I'm a hyper concentration guy. There's too much hyper concentration in every country now. And once again, the bond market is damn near dying, and no one has said a word. Everyone put in chat, if you factor in crypto investment and AI, what percentage of gains does that make up for the stock market? Even MicroStrategy and AI play. Like, if you take those out, the market will be negative.
Right. Well, so that's yes,
scary.
They are 100% right. Right. Those companies, the Russell, those companies have not performed.
Yes.
Which means even when those companies start, like, because if you look at all the earnings growth over the past 2 years, it hasn't caught up. Obviously, those 3 companies that we spoke about have led it. We talk about how much they were weighted.
Yeah.
But is there a turnaround now, right? Even if those companies start to perform, that's still not enough for the market to move. Like,
so
those 3 companies have to
have. The question is that, all right. So
let me just finish that. Those companies have to move for it to be positive, just because of how heavy they're weighted.
$1.5 billion spent as opposed to $6 million. But will Trump retaliate? If this is true, allegedly, obviously you don't get that many Nvidia chips by accident or in the black market. So this would have to be backdoor channels working with China indirectly with the top ranks of Nvidia.
Oh, the employee stole it out of the back office
and shipped it.
So
wrong place.
50,000 of them.
If that happens, will Trump have some level of retaliation for Nvidia?
That's a great question, Rashad. You are broadcasting today. He would have to. If not, just to set an example, like growing up in the household, like sometimes I would get a spanking for me and my brother. So my mom would just be like, I have to do it so your brother know not to do it. They may have to get Jensen just so AMD and everyone, Intel. Because if I was Intel, I'd be calling everybody in China. Hey, I got
that's the part. That's the part. Right? We couldn't figure out why they keeping this thing alive. Why is the government giving it the biggest contract? That's like that part. I don't know if it's beneficial to put restraints or retaliate against a company that's leading your economy.
Yeah.
But if you got a player that's waiting, that's been kind of dormant, that you want to prop up, but even then, they still don't have the technology to do it. That's the problem. They're not ready to do it. So you can put restrictions.
Who's not ready to do it?
Intel.
Not even close. They're not close yet.
Mm-mm.
It would still be Nvidia as a leader for the GPUs. The market share is too great. Number 2 is AMD at 15% of the market share for the GPU market. They're at 85%, bro.
But he could import tariffs on them because we need them. They need us. Their biggest clients are all American companies. So it's a two-way relationship here. They have to sell their products to American companies, and American companies have to buy their products from them. So if he has some level of penalty that they have to pay now, but they still got to pay it.
I mean, they're an American company too.
Cool.
Nvidia. So like what
doing business with my enemy. Like you can't.
They're all doing business with that. Like they're all doing business with China. Like, who's not? Well, Meta's not. Well, I shouldn't say who's not.
They're not allowed to.
Right, because they're not allowed to. But majority of them are, right? Like Google might have some issues, obviously, because Baidu is pretty much what Google is. So not as much, but Tesla for sure needs China. Apple for sure needs China. Right? And maybe Nvidia needs China too.
I mean, everybody needs China.
Right.
But I mean,
you put a tariff is, I mean, how does that even work?
Listen, Elon confirmed it as well that they have about 50,000 Nvidia Hopper GPUs.
Oh, they got the Hopper ones. Oh, yeah, H1. Yes.
Yeah. That's scary.
So how'd they get it?
Did he take his heart back out the crowd and put it back in his chest? Shout out to all y'all who defended Elon, who clearly, because if that was Kyrie,
whoa,
or Kanye, oh man,
how he told
Kanye being back up to 2 billion. But yeah, now them having 50,000 GPUs on a come out the back office, they got the trains and the trucks like I used to do in Jordan, Chicago back in the day.
This is the Memphis line.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, man.
Now that Rashad would be a real threat. 50,000 GPUs afloat. It's like Alias with Jennifer Garner back in the day. Like this espionage getting crazy.
Yeah. All right, so here's the other part of it. If it's the 50,000 H1s, it sounds like a virus at this point. But if it's still not the latest model. True. So you're still not computing at the highest level with the people you got to compete with. Because everybody's
good enough.
It's good enough to get you to a certain point, right? But it's like having.
I mean, if you think they got 50,000
of those,
you don't think they got
Blackwell?
Everything.
Some, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying
they probably got the samples that they even come out yet.
What we do know is that, well, allegedly we know, to his understanding, he said, and what Elon's confirming is that they have that one, which is still a model behind. In 6 months it'll be, or 8 months it'll be 2 models behind.
No, I'm just saying.
You think that they might have it now?
It should have no models.
If it's like snowfall, if they're gonna front you 50,000 bricks, you're an A1 client. You get it off consignment after a while. So if they get 50,000 of these, I'm pretty sure they got very good relationship.
10 Blackwells.
Yeah.
They got some Blackwell in the stash?
Probably, like I said, they probably got something. They probably got the sample product that's not even like
Redwell.
Ruben's next. Somebody called
Speaking of H1, there's been an outbreak of the H5N9 bird flu in California. We in all-out warfare. It's a lot of stuff Trump don't do right, but the attacks that we're going through again, and then the CIA, we talk about them blackout. CIA confirmed that the
Wuhan
got you all in check.
They try to run up on the lab. You saw it? Don't you dare? Yeah, the security was not having.
Like you said, I mean,
going for it.
The one thing that I guess is really, if Meta is any indicator, it happened a few times. These situations, they usually bounce back. So that would be a good buying opportunity for Nvidia if you believe in the company long term.
On sale.
But Meta's CEO is, I'm trying to find a way to say this. He's American born and bred.
Okay.
Even Elon, we are spooky hours, yo. I'm so glad I don't work in government. I'm not a political leader. Shout out to all of you who work in government with security clearances. And
so you think Jensen is compromised? Because he's not.
I wouldn't say he's compromised, but I'm sure he's been offered some things that may be tempting.
Well, he's from Taiwan.
Allegedly. I know it's true, but just for the docket and deposition, risk mitigation. Allegedly.
They got
because if you think about it, 3 of our most powerful companies in the United States are not run on Duncan. Shout out to the brother who I was going to go get Duncan.
I mean,
I'm not dying over content. I'm gonna keep telling y'all that. Yo, wake it up. No, you wake it up. And all y'all who wake it up on y'all podcasts end up getting released anyway, or dismantled, or y'all break up.
Shout out to Jensen, man.
If y'all thought that they was going to get left out, like China's not going to get left out of this.
Oh no, it's the number one threat.
You think that's part of the reason why Trump playing nice and saying me and Xi Jinping are going to save the world together?
Can Trump figure this out? Really?
Not solo. It's going to take an army. It's going to take a village.
We'll see. He's not even a week off of announcing a $500 billion spend.
Because if they have 50,000, how many does Baidu and Alibaba have?
Well,
talk about turning over the market. Oh
no,
my God.
Baba need to do something with it then. God damn.
They may be waiting. Autobots unite. They may have a plan.
Shout out to Jack.
Yeah. Shout out to Jack.
It's nasty.
Scary times.
Spooky hours out here. All right. What about Nike?
I'll take my personal disposition out of it and how they did Kyrie and others. I know it's been on a little bit of a rebound.
Slight.
For me, Nike is permanently uninvestable until leadership gives a plan. Like, okay, and this is we're going sector by sector. I can just off the top of my head name Tesla, AMD, Nvidia, Eli Lilly, TSM. Like Nike isn't outperforming Skechers.
No.
You not fucking with Salehi on his own and he ain't publicly traded. Come on, it's over with. Like I'm tired of it's gonna make a bounce back. We're over buying the Jordans we couldn't afford as a kid. It's over with. Sorry, you milked us for 15 years over the Jordan 3s we couldn't get when we was 8. We don't. Salehi got Crocs on fire. No.
Skechers is they've kind of lost their way, which is why they got rid of their CEO. And this is the first quarter that the new CEO has been in place, but the innovation the problem still exists, right? Like who's their market, right? If sales are going down, if you look at the correlation between Foot Locker sales and look at what Nike's doing.
Adidas got you wiped down.
Well, they've come into a space where they're not they're still the number one sports provider in terms of overall merchandising, but as far as athletes, New Balance is there, Adidas is there. There's so much competition. Hookah, On Cloud, they're not the place that you're not automatically looking like I need this run at you because people are making better products at a more affordable price a lot of times. They haven't been innovative. They don't have the star athlete. LeBron is on year 22. KD's on year 19. Right, Tiger's gone. Mike is gone. Serena's gone. Like
Kyrie gone. Mistake.
Kyrie is gone. And Edwards is with Adidas. Right, like
and y'all lucky. Kanye don't got distribution with them pods.
Yeah,
over with.
The basketball guys that you used to rely on to sell apparel, it's not the same. Zion didn't work out. Jason Tatum, people are not gravitating.
Zion is
no pun intended. I think Zion's a great player. But it's not working the same way. And then you lose the biggest stars of this generation. 15 is with Adidas. 15 is, he's on TV more than anybody. Him and Shohei is with New Balance.
Yes.
These are generational talents, generational athletes, generational personalities.
No one even wants Nike anymore on the player side, which is crazy to think about.
Well, they still
Nike is the IBM of that space. Intel of that space. Call a spade a spade. I ain't playing this year.
What they have done is something smart. They went into a new avenue, and that's women's sports, basketball specifically. Sabrina's shoe has done well for them. Asia's getting her own shoe, and Caitlin is obviously a star. They just announced today that she's getting her own shoe, so they're moving in that lane. That's a growing business. Even that 3-on-3 league, Unrivaled, that's doing numbers, bro. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's doing numbers. That might be an avenue for them, but it's going to take some time for the WNBA to be perceived.
What's that mean?
Rashad, come on.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
What's
Don't do it. I know the meme.
What mean?
You're gonna do the
No. It's a meme. It's like I think it's Magic Johnson. He's like
it's over.
Well, Rob Parker say no way, no how.
No disrespect. If you're waiting for Sabrina to save the company,
oh, she's number 3 in sales. No, it's Kobe. Like, no joke.
And they should have been put out the Caitlin shoe.
Well, it takes some time for that. But outside of the Jordan brand, let's move the Jordan brand. Bron, Kobe, and then Sabrina and KD.
I mean,
I like Sabrina, but if Sabrina number 3,
but it's not the women that are wearing it. The men's. If you look at like college teams, they're ordering them both, men's and women's. Look at professional athletes, men and women, they're playing in that shoe.
It's an eye test. You talking about shoes that are getting ordered in bulk from?
That's the makeup.
They're paying these schools to wear their sneakers.
Yeah, I get that part.
So even that order in bulk thing, I mean, if I give you $100 and say, "Yo, Ian, buy this hoodie for $100," I sold the hoodie for $100.
That's how it works. Because guess what? Guess what happens? Eyeballs are on that. Oh, that's
but it's not working. It's a thing called cultural impact. I've never seen nobody wear these sneakers in public ever.
Well, that's a part of it too. How many people are wearing sneakers to now dress in? Right? Like we used to get fresh with our sneakers,
and
they don't have it.
And that's why they're suffering.
And to that point, they have the biggest competitor, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah,
bro, the luxury market ate up all your cachet.
Asics ate into they. Asics went crazy.
New Balances have
we said that.
So the thing about it is that I mean, these numbers.
Nike is what 5th best in that category.
Which one?
And let's just say shoe
outdoor
and apparel.
I mean, they still number 1 because they sell the most, but I mean.
Lost leader.
Cultural influence is not the same.
They don't have that person, man. Tiger literally, they had to make a division for golf because of Tiger Woods, right? Like they had to create a basketball division after they saw success with Jordan. They got Kobe, obviously, and LeBron has held the mantle for a little bit, not a little bit, a lot for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But bro, who's the person? I don't know who it is.
That's not gonna work. Those and shout out to KD.
And they brought back Dion.
KD, that's my guy. But I'm just saying, people don't wear these sneakers. They don't wear these sneakers.
KD's?
None of them. LeBron's, KD. People don't wear these sneakers.
Haven't seen them.
KD.
Drake line didn't work over there.
Nah, KD's they not wearing. And Edwards shoe they wearing.
Yeah.
Ja is making some waves. I'm telling you, Sabrina, people's wearing those shoes. That's right. You go to Dick's Sporting Goods, you go to any of these, it's right there, right in the front.
When you're talking about people wearing, I'm in the space as far as like I have a kid that plays basketball. I'm in the basketball grassroots circle, so I understand like these kids wear sneakers to play basketball in. But what I'm saying
outside,
is that, Nike became big because it got bigger than just sports. Right, Nike was a fashion brand where from jerseys to apparel to sneakers, and I mean the vast majority of people that was wearing Jordans at its heyday, even now to this day, we're not playing basketball in Jordans. Of course, you have
to got fresh.
Yeah, that's done. That's over with. And that you're not gonna be able to survive at the highest level possible if you're only selling products to athletes. That's not going to work.
That's what I said. That's why you have to have the athlete. Right? Jordan makes it look cool on court. Now you want to look cool off the court.
I don't think it's the athlete.
It is.
You seen Kanye? He's not an athlete.
Well, Kanye is an entertainer.
You saw what Kanye did. You saw what Travis Scott did. Even with his sneakers,
Travis Scott doesn't have he has a Jordan. That's
But
a Jordan
I'm just saying
shoe.
they re-rocked it, and that's another thing. Their creativity is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
They keep re-bringing back the old sneakers and doing all this, and how many colorways can you have of the same sneakers?
So that was an avenue. It was, if it's not going to be the athlete, maybe it'll be the entertainer, since they saw it happen with Yeezy, and Travis has been great for them. He's been great for them.
Yeah, Drake was a miss though. I don't know if the Kevin.
But like Adidas tried to do that with Bad Bunny, didn't work.
Didn't work
at all.
Yeah, Nike, LVMH, Hermes, TJ Maxx, Dior, Chanel, Adidas, Lululemon.
Right, for the apparel. That's what I'm saying. Right, there's so many competitors.
Everybody on earth is your competition. Like, you have a bunch of enemy combatants that have encroaching your space. And like you said, when Jordan leaves, and then like you said, I don't see people just casually wearing Nikes out anymore.
You saw what they brought back. So they try to bring back some of the apparel. Remember the elite socks? Like, that was a thing.
Yeah.
It did away with the least. Now the elite socks are back. That was a seller for them. The tech has always been a pretty good thing for them. That still sells pretty well. But I mean,
it's tough. Yeah. So the guy who asked me, I appreciate you, but Nike, they're not even top 10 in that space. You gotta go through all the umbrellas of companies that LVMH and Chanel have before you.
They're still the big. They're not top 10. That's crazy. They're definitely
definitely not a top 10 stock.
Oh no, not stock. I'm talking about in
their space. Louis got 400,000
apparel.
They got 50,000 GPUs. Lululemon got you wiped down. What?
Lululemon's in the conversation for sure.
Then the Hokas.
Facts.
I said those companies, but that's Hoka is only running
for now.
But that's the thing.
They're also walking shoes. A lot of people wear Hokas that don't run. They just wear they're walking. They like just regular everyday up and down the street sneakers.
They're not selling the same amount as Nike, obviously. We know that.
I agree.
Hokas
just this gross.
But I'm saying all these little dents into your market, like dominance, hurts. Right? So Hoka, Asics, on Clouds is done better than all those. Yeah. All these Adidas, like they punching in on that market, and it's like, all right, bro. At a certain point, you're gonna perform like you're doing now.
Nike's
like when Iron Man got jumped at the end at the movie.
Nike been in trouble for a while. They've been in trouble for a while.
Since Kaepernick, technically.
Yeah, I mean, even before that. I mean, they started breaking it the Jordan brand. Now you got to try to rely everything on Jordan brand. Yeah. Now you got the Jordan brand schools versus the Nike schools. Like
they was that era of
it's not gonna work.
Of early Durant, Kobe and Bron, Kyrie in there. They performed really well during that moment.
Yeah,
that was a great moment.
But even that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's just the culture. It's a thing called cultural influence. Not to stay on this topic for too long, but nobody's wearing Kobe's in the streets.
That's not true. That's not true.
In the streets.
That's not true.
They wear Kobe's to play basketball. It's 100% true.
People wear Kobe's.
They don't wear Kobe's. They wear Kobe's to play basketball, and it's become a very nostalgic thing, and it's actually very pricey. And people, I'm just saying, like, or the sneaker
are priced out,
or the sneaker collectors wear them and they put them in a glass box. I'm talking about every day. You see more people wearing Asics, Jordan. Like, people are not wearing Kobe's every day to get fresh. They're not wearing Kobe's to get fresh.
That's different. Everybody can't get fresh. So like,
but that's the point. That's where sneaker culture comes from. Sneaker culture comes from you getting fresh from the David Robinsons,
and it's evolved from there. But people just having the shoes.
No, people still getting fresh. But like Ian said, now they're getting fresh with Balenciagas. And 15.
The average kid is not gonna have Balenciagas, right? He's gonna have his Kobe's is gonna be his sneaker when he's playing ball. It's gonna be a sneaker when he going to school.
They don't wear Kobe's to school. I have a kid. I
have 2 kids.
3 Kobe's.
I was a teacher. They wore Kobe's, bro.
3 Kobe's. He's never wore them outside the basketball.
You're talking about one period.
I'm looking at it. I
know. What I'm saying is that
Kobe's like that.
They do, bro. Like the numbers show that.
They don't wear Kobe's like to getting fresh, or they'll wear it with just like on some sweatpants. Like
this is how the kids is dressing, bro.
No, but when Kanye put his sneakers out, you wear the Kanye's to get fresh.
They were a staple.
When Kanye put his sneakers out, kids couldn't get them.
any sneaker that he puts out, I'm talking about the Road Runners, whatever. People, the only thing that he puts out that people that don't get freshened is like those Crocs slippers. They could just wear those like flip flops.
No,
everything else they puts out, you put those on.
Some people put them on.
They run them to death.
But I'm saying
it's not even get fresh
all the time. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you wear those as just anything. You could just go outside and just wear those. They're like Crocs. But those other sneakers that he put in, those are fashion items. People get fresh in those sneakers.
They are no longer that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Kanye's?
Yeah.
What? Which ones?
Pick them. Pick the Pirates, the Zebra. Like,
how they not? Because people are not wearing it. They 15 years old.
They're not.
What
15.
I'm saying, every item that he's ever come out with has been a staple in fashion.
No,
that's a fact.
No.
VIX,
every item that Kanye has not put out as a shoe has not been.
Every shoe he's put out
desired. Going back to them chunky
you got,
and
I have them all. That's why I'm saying it. No, it hasn't been. This is a fact.
Which ones weren't?
The 350s for sure, right? The 350 that's the low top. The zebra ones for sure. The turtle doves, that's the gray one. His first one with the strap, the 720. Those are icons. The Nike ones, icons. Have you seen one person wear the basketball shoe?
No.
Awkward silence. This is what I'm saying. Not every product works.
You're talking about just misses at the ball. I'm talking about the majority. Everything.
No. Whoa. Let's not change it.
Popular.
Let's not change it. We said every product that he's put out.
What's the percentage of? What's the percentage?
He's had some. I just named some classic ones.
What's the percentage?
Some of the low top joints aren't great.
What's the percentage?
350s was fire. 450s was fire.
And the Wave Runners.
The Wave Runners. Tough.
Red October. What's the
percentage? People wear the 500 too.
I said the ones that were the iconic.
What's the percentage? 80%?
I'm not
No. Kanye is. I don't know percentage. He has put out iconic things. He has not made. I don't know the percentage.
There's some Jordans that
are not great. Exactly.
I mean that Jordan is still.
But I didn't say every product he puts out is great. That's what you said. I'm saying no, not every product.
Ian, what's the deal with the VIX hitting almost an all-time 52-week low?
Yeah, we talked about this last Friday. VIX is a measure of volatility in the market. We've got to a low. Whenever we get to a low, usually a tsunami of some sort is going to come our way. I think this drop today was just cause and effect of that. If we get to the 9 or sub 10 range, that's when we'll start to have issues. But if the VIX is at a low, usually the market is at a high, and then it's going to have a reversal like in a month. So keep your eyes on that. If we get below 10, we may do market Mondays, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. So, but for right now, when I was looking at the VIX, I'm not surprised that the market reacted the way that it did off of this news. But when the VIX is at a low, it's usually a canary in the coal mine telling you that turmoil is about to happen.
Yeah, closed Friday at 15, jumped up to 2162 today. Yeah, I told you 25 is when it's like, all right, let's just sit it out. Let's have our money in reserves. If you have some profit to take, let's take some profits, and let's just wait this thing out. We didn't get to 25 though.
The slides were fire. What?
I got those too.
Yeah.
Not advised to wear if the ground is wet though. Could be dangerous.
Gotcha.
You got the socks?
No, I haven't got those. I'm good. I'm not that. I'm cool. I'll be a laggard on that. I don't need the $20 socks. Shout to he looked happy again, back in the creative bag.
No, Bully the album, man. We're looking forward to it. That snippet that they put out sounds like he's back on that rapping again. Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. Shout out to Bump J, everybody in Chicago. Helping.
What
do you think about Alphabet? Almost at all-time high. Pulled back today, but
they're trying to claw their way back. They would be in that B tier of the AI exposure. I'm still waiting to see a demo of this Willow quantum chip. Google, you're on the clock. It's Willow time. Where's it at? Especially when DeepSeek got 72,000 GPUs. But I think they're going to claw back. And the tech that they build is pretty good on the AI side as well. So I keep saying, like, we can have all these fears, but the same companies that have been doing well are going to continue to do so.
Yeah.
They've withstood presidents, changes, Brexit, COVID that was manufactured. Now that we can talk about it, and they still did incredibly well. So I don't love Google. I think they've misstepped the whole AI race, and maybe they got a little bit too comfortable. But they're a solid investment. They're like in my B tier.
I got them up there, A tier. I got them up there. So the cloud service is expanding, which is great news for them. Obviously, AWS and Azure, they would probably be right there with them. But even the AI,
they're right there with AWS.
No. I said AWS.
Yeah,
Azure and them.
we're on the same side. We ain't like them other shows to be breaking.
Yeah, no. I mean, those are the three leaders, right?
Yeah,
for sure. AWS is here, but their share of the AWS space has come down just a bit. So that part of it, but even AI, when you look at, and I guess this is like computer engineers have rated Gemini the number one GPT based on accuracy.
Not solid.
So the only part, the YouTube thing is still concerning. The dominance that it relies on YouTube is still a concern. But I think the AI innovation part is pretty strong. Yeah. The key going forward is how much of their talent can they keep, and we've seen that for the past 5-6 years. If you look at the companies who've been building, they usually have a common theme, and they probably started at Google. Was it deepfake then? Is that why I keep thinking deepfake?
Probably.
When they had,
I need to fix that search business too.
When they had the original model, it was them, but a lot of the engineers came from Google's labs. So keeping the talent is going to be important.
Yeah, but if as OpenAI continues to get better, it's going to put more pressure and take more market share away from their search business. So, be mindful.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Be mindful.
The accuracy is better though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mark Zuckerberg versus Sam Altman showdown.
Who do you think is going to win? This is my question I want to pose to you guys on the political. And
who will win?
I mean, I think
it's an interesting race.
I think that Zuckerberg obviously is one of the most powerful people in the world. So he's more powerful than Sam Altman right now, and I think that masculine CEO shot was directed at him too, because he's also gay. So I talked about last week with Tim Cook, that could have been an off-brand shot at Tim Cook without trying to seem homophobic, because I still don't really know what that means as far as they need more masculine energy as far as CEOs when all the CEOs are white men. So I don't know what he means by that. But that may have that may have been a shot at Tim Cook, but it also may have been a shot at Sam Altman.
Yeah.
Without taking the homophobic route. So I think that there's issues there. Elon definitely doesn't like him. That's for sure.
Does not.
So I mean, he said that Trump said that he hates him. Actually, he said he hates one of the people. So he said that Elon Musk actually hates Sam Altman. That's what he said.
Yep.
And by the way, George Bush II is a way worse president than Donald Trump ever was. He's actually the worst president in American history.
Where did this come from?
Because a lot of people forget that.
Just want to remind.
In what way?
Well, he lied about weapons of mass destruction, started a whole war with Iraq for no reason at all, which ended up killing 100,000 Iraqis and 10,000 American soldiers and put us $1 trillion in debt. Then started the longest war in American history in Afghanistan, put us in another $1 trillion worth of debt, ruined Colin Powell's reputation because he made him go in front of the UN and lie. Then we have the biggest financial crisis in American history next to the Great Depression, the Great Recession that happens on his watch, when you have all of these banks that had no regulation at all that just ran it up.
Bear Stearns.
And then he bails out all of these banks. Yeah. His handling of Katrina was atrocious. Flew over, didn't even stop. The list goes on, but that's just a few that come to mind. So he's way more dangerous. Dick Cheney, Halliburton, what they was able to do.
Dick Cheney's war is what they called it.
Oh man, this guy's very
dangerous.
Sure. So I know he's cool with Michelle Obama, but Donald Trump is not as dangerous as him.
Until Elon puts us in those wars that Rumsfeld put him in.
To be determined.
To be determined.
But I would rather have Donald Trump as a president than him, because man, that was a.
For the record, that's a Ralph Lauren hat, not a MAGA hat. Before y'all get to clipping stuff up.
Oh man, the white label.
You know they're gonna zoom in. I never saw him have a
a
patriotic hat before. Chill.
There you go. So
Yeah.
people might have forgotten history, but George and when he left presidency, he had the lowest approval rating in American history for any president ever. He's the reason why we got Obama. There wouldn't have been a black president if he didn't perform at such a low level.
Yeah.
He opened the door.
Very true.
I think Trump passed him on the lowest, or maybe Biden. Trump and Biden might have passed him on the lowest approval. Well, to date, he was for sure. That just came. Where you just got that from? You just wanted to say that?
No, but because people have been saying that Trump is the worst president, he's dangerous. Look, I might not agree with everything that happens, but we're not going to rewrite history. We're not. That's what we're not going to do. He's an interesting character. But that's what
we wrote all our history.
Trump is an interesting character.
Modified.
Trump is dangerous
and published.
He's an interesting character.
To my understanding,
George Bush level of danger was different. That was a different level of danger. 2 terms.
Back to back.
We still never really got that answer for the Iraq situation. Weapons of mass destruction just made that
we
up.
got it.
They just made that up. Like, that's so crazy how you could just make something up. Like, it was never proven to be true. And like I said, you got 10,000 American soldiers that died. How many soldiers lost their legs, arms, mental illness for no reason? We get attacked by Saudi Arabia's 18 people on the planes were from Saudi Arabia, and it was orchestrated from a group in Afghanistan, and then we attack Iraq.
Saddam, yep.
That's like Mexicans getting on a plane from America, hitting London, and then London strikes Argentina. Make sense.
True. Yeah, some unfinished business, man. His pops had unfinished business in Iraq. He had to go clean that up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's an unfortunate situation because a lot of people lost their lives for no reason.
Absolutely.
And we wasn't in debt. That's another thing.
We got a surplus coming in.
Clinton balanced the budget. The reason why we're in debt now is because of Bush. And then you just add on to it. But we wasn't in debt before that situation. Not like we are now. This you have to point the blame at him. He starts 2 wars and has the biggest financial crisis and has to bail out the banks. That's the reason why we're in debt now, 20 years later.
You think Al Gore should have stood up, or nobody bigger than the program? Usually how relationships start is how it tell you how the leadership is going to go. When Jeb took them votes and threw them in a little alligator swamp.
Historic year. 2000 was a historic year.
Crazy.
My first time voting.
Yeah,
I'll never forget it.
I vote right in the Everglades.
Trump wouldn't have done that.
What?
None of the stuff that I just named. I don't think he would have did it.
I don't know.
Didn't Putin just say if it wasn't for Trump, we wouldn't be in that Ukraine war?
No. Putin said that if Trump was in office,
never would happen.
That would have never happened. But that's him playing because he likes Trump. But that's all the political game. But Putin actually said, if Trump was in office, this probably would never even happen.
That was gross mismanagement on both sides of Biden and Putin, for sure. It's crazy times. Crazy times. Rashad, are you going MAGA? Question.
Say it now.
Who decides war?
Say it now.
For real. That's the question of the decade. For every president, who decides war? That's the real. What can you do?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, going back to the original part, obviously that history lesson is important, but the Musk Altman thing, I think what's most important is that they still gonna figure out how to do business. Like, they don't even have to like each other. right? Like Trump knows that Elon doesn't like Altman. He's still going to do business with him.
Well, that might
But as soon as Elon find a way to cut that boy throat.
Elon's all right. They said that allegedly they cut his access off to Trump this weekend. Allegedly.
Yeah, I heard similar rumblings.
He's going to kick him out of Doge?
I'm just saying sometimes it does affect relationships.
They cut the lights off of Fauci's credentials. They can cut the lights off his too.
No. It's a big difference.
No. I'm saying no. I can't. They can't cut off his business. I said his government credentials.
You can't cut off Elon's. He's funding the government. $200 million. I funded the government. He funded the government. He is the government.
That's a little China. You better give my access. When I swipe my key card,
you can't cut off Elon's access.
To go to the East Wing or West Wing
for his title, not for his business, for his title.
Whatever Elon wants, he's gonna get.
You sometimes you got to weaponize the business to get what you want on the relationship side.
Weaponize your business, to my understanding.
Yeah.
Friday
when he get to swiping, he better be able to walk in there like Olivia Pope used to do. He got to go see his president. What? You think I donated all this money to not be able to go see him when I want to? Yeah, okay.
So
access
denied. Get Michelle and go fund her and run against y'all. You better quit playing.
No,
Elon don't care. He gonna get all that old diamond money that the grandparents had.
He took his talents over to Europe.
Yep.
Access denied, access granted.
Allegedly. Well, we do have a guest. So let's bring our guest up if we can.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get it. We got Derek Lewis.
Hi, gentlemen. Wanted to introduce you to Derek Lewis. Obviously, I've been speaking about you. That's Troy Millings and Rashad and our friend Ian Dunlap.
How are you?
Step out of frame and let you gentlemen get to it.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing, Chanel?
Hi, miss you guys.
Miss Chanel.
Likewise.
All right, so we'll just start. Okay, so we have esteemed guest Derek Lewis, corporate legend, author, entrepreneur, investor in Big Dave's Cheesesteaks. Opened up 10 franchises. Our guy, Derek. And then also, this is interesting and a great time because former president of multicultural at PepsiCo.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there's a lot to talk about as far as that is concerned. Keynote speaker, very esteemed resume. So first and foremost, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you all for having me, and congratulations on the book launch. I've been tracking; it looks
thank you
promising. So big ups. I'm in the same cycle, maybe not as big, but nevertheless, I'm enjoying the journey. And congratulations again.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. So okay, so we got a lot to talk about, but first I want to talk about obviously, you were the president of multicultural at PepsiCo. PepsiCo, one of the largest companies in the world, right? Yes. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this whole attack on DEI.
Yes.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Great question and very timely, and that was my last role at Pepsi for the other really 33, 34 years. I was an operating executive, president of multiple businesses. At one point, I was running North America operationally, so always in charge of billions and billions of dollars of sales and profit, and became a really big anchor, primarily all in the beverage space. And then the last role, because of the work I was doing, certainly on a geographical level, company had asked me to come in and create this new role, that multicultural business unit role, is taking really all the best practices of the things that I was doing in my geographical roles. I was basically linking the business to the call it diversity case and driving results from that, right? Showing how ROI can be achieved by doing it the right way and using, an established framework and having discipline with that framework and bringing all my associates along. But the last role was obviously meant to be a North America role. And again, that business unit is still running. I retired at the end of 22 after 35 years of service. I wanted to get into other things like being an entrepreneur, like being an author. We can talk a little bit about that, how that came about. And then just others, investment in, private companies, sitting on boards and doing things like that to really fulfill what I call my new phase of paying it forward, of being a go-giver after being, decades of a go-getter. So that's where I'm at. In terms of D&I, certainly what I'm seeing, it's, not ideal. I'm a little disappointed, obviously, in some of the way some of the, call it bandwagoning is going on, herky-jerky, student body left, student body right, positioning is from some of the organizations. Put the politics aside for a second. It's drastic change in a lot of cases, and it does affect associates. Having said that, my whole life, my book is all about turning, struggle, turning adversity, taking challenges and turning them to the next level things, right? So I also, while I believe that, yes, there is a challenge amongst us right now with as some of these things get pulled back, but that's creating a new opportunity. And the reality is, from my vantage point, being in that space my entire life, I would say that the playbook needed to be refined, needed to be reimagined. I think the playbook historically obviously originated from in the 60s and 70s when there was an awful lot of turmoil as it relates to discrimination and rights. A lot of laws were being broken. There was a lot of societal norms being changed at that time. And so that playbook was essential for that period of time, just to drive some stability and some entry-level access to Black individuals at the time. But I think as time moved on, you have to evolve it. I think there's a new playbook now that requires one to be comprehensive, much more comprehensive in nature, not just looking at a very direct lens of race or gender even, or direct cohort. I think it has to be multifaceted across all cohorts. So I think comprehensive is the first CIU. The next CIU is collaboration. You got to get people in an atmosphere where they're working together, talking about these topics, working on solutions together, not competing on solutions, not competing on things, but working together on things. And the last C I would use is really this compassion. You got to have, this is all about people. And so as you make these drastic changes one way or the other, you are affecting people in their lives, in their mindset, and their mental health. And so it's important for, I think, this new model as it emerges through the leadership of the culture. These are people inside organizations, people that sit in community-based organizations, a whole host of people that I think now need to really come together and frame the conversation in a different way, an evolving way. So it's much more productive, much more progressive. I don't like the quick tactics of bandwagoning. Like I said, I think it's weak to have that happen inside of an organization without telling the story on where you're going. So in my mind, if you're going to pull back from something or move away from something, at least to me, have a conversation of where you're evolving to, because you're still dealing with associates, you're still dealing with humans, you're still dealing with people's lives at stake here. And so careers are at stake. So, to me, when you make one step, you should also take that other step to kind of wrap it together, integrate that conversation to still give people hope. You still hold people inspiration. Again, it's all cohorts. You want everybody to win at the table. You don't want an environment where there's winners or losers. We know that model is dated. We know that you can't force things anymore. You can't mandate things anymore. I looked at statistically, think about the legacy D&I program has been in place for 5-6 decades. Today we stand at what, out of the Fortune 500 companies, I think there are less than 2% Black CEOs in those spaces, right? And so for something to be sort of something that everybody's willing to live and die on the sword on, it's not producing at the highest or high levels. That was really the sort of, in my mind, the ingredient to produce the population, the critical mass. So then you have it sort of get paid forward in ways that will create more critical mass amongst the leadership ranks, whether you be early career, mid-career, or certainly the higher C-suite career. And so that hasn't transpired. So again, it just, to me, tells me playbook was dated. It needs to be modernized. It needs to be future forward. It needs to have those 3 C's at least as a minimum starting point, and bringing the right people to the table.
So the playbook is outdated. I think one of the new plays in the playbook is entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And I know you've gone from corporate America into entrepreneurship. Talk about the process, the journey, and some of those qualities that you've taken over from one avenue to the next.
I love that. Great question. And I think it's a profound impact. My career has had a profound impact on my ability to step in the entrepreneur world. You got to think about, again, I talked about all this, extreme operational experience, ended operational experience that I have, strong brand building acumen. We're a company that had a lot of scale, a lot of resources, and has some of the most powerful brands, not only just in North America, but across the entire world. Talent management, I was in the middle of that as well, and so having the ability to, see things operationally, see things from a brand building, strategic perspective, understand the talent navigation process very well, be connected to the communities in that space as well to drive outcomes on the top line, the bottom line, having metrics and scorecards and analysis and insights. I think is all critical skills and information that are preparing for my next life. Now, as I step in the restaurant space, there's some newness with that, dealing with putting buildings in the ground and going through construction and things like that. I'm learning my way through it, and there's certainly some valuable lessons here at the first two restaurants I'm doing, that I will not, certainly from the lesson standpoint, I'm going to get better at doing some of the things that I did in the first round here as we go to second round, 2, round 3, round 4, because I have 10 units I'm building. I'm also going to be looking at other businesses I may try to get involved with. It's really opened my eyes. This is something I'm really cherishing. I've been cherishing to do for a long, long time, and I'm finally here. And I can't tell you how excited I am at sort of being, in this space now where I'm controlling my own destiny. I can build this out with the vision I have set for myself and the people that are alongside of me here. But I'm the captain. I'm the quarterback. I'm the head coach. I love all those things. And, I can't wait to get started. We already have getting started. I can't wait to get the brick and mortars open and continue to expand in the next series of options from a business portfolio standpoint.
For those in the community that are heartbroken about what's happening to DEI, what suggestions would you give to be able to get some of that equity back that has been taken from us over the last couple of months?
I think first it starts with yourself. I think, nobody wants to skip the line passes or have the benefit from mandates and forced behavior and things like that. Those things don't work out well. They could appear to work out well in the short term, but over the long haul, they don't work out very well. There's reputational damage and all sorts of impacts. So I kind of linked that to the earlier conversation. I would really spend time, one, on betting on yourself. I think you as an employee, as an associate, as an entrepreneur, as a college student, you pick any realm of life that you're in, you have to own it. So you have to bet on yourself. 2, I think you have to believe in yourself. So you have to install confidence. You have to take some risks. So while you dream big on things and have big aspirations and always constantly looking at setting higher goals for yourself, you also have to take risk. You can't play this thing safely no matter what. You have to believe in yourself and instill that confidence and taking chances on things that are going to help you be the best version of yourself. And then you have to be yourself. And this is where I preach authenticity. From day one, I've been the same person, same values, same principles going back to my childhood. And I declared for myself at that time is that I'm going to control my own destiny in this life. Again, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm not going to let anybody else bet on me. Other people can bet on me, but I have to own it. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to absolutely believe I can get it done and do the things necessary to do that, including taking chances and risk. And then 3, I'm never going to lose who I am, where I came from, the culture, how important that matters to me. But I'm also strategic enough to know that it's all about the greater good. And so ways that I still am very authentic and true to myself, I can also still contribute and impact the greater good. So to me, it starts with that mindset of kind of controlling your own destiny. And then 2, I think you have to focus on driving results. You have to focus on relationships, and you have to focus on your reputation and your brand. And to me, those 3 R's are the real key to success inside any type of business that you're in, whether you're on your own or you're inside a big corporate structure. You have to drive performance. You have to build critical relationships and trust and high collaborative skills. And you're also going to have to develop a brand that is valued, that has a sort of high image to it. Those, when they all work together, create the highest level of potential for you. At that point, you're not going to worry about some program being in place. You're not going to worry about it. You can now become a leader. You can inspire those around you. You can connect with the cohorts at a much junior level to inspire them, to bring them along. That's what I did throughout my entire career. I didn't get a skip the line pass. I worked my way through each level, grinding based on what I just had this conversation with. And then it was my job, once I reached a certain level, I realized that I had access and influence. I started pulling individuals together and started creating this atmosphere of reach one, teach one. And I think that's incumbent upon leaders that do start to make it, acknowledge to do that. In some cases, that's stalled. A lot of people they want to worry about getting to themselves, not necessarily along for the pack. I was always about the greater good, because I realized that once you develop the best athletes in the organization, you're going to get a ride from that as well. The whole company's going to win. Everybody's a winner. I'm all about being around winners. So for me, everybody wins, everybody eats, everybody levels up. It's a great day inside the company or outside the company.
So you purchased 10 franchises from I got Derek Hayes, Big Days Cheesesteak.
Yes.
So that's interesting because he's a younger entrepreneur than you, and he's also a Black entrepreneur. So I think that's great that you can work with somebody who's Black and then work with somebody who's younger as well, right? So talk about the process and what was the steps to actually purchase those bulk franchises, and what's your vision for those franchises?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. So I got to meet Derek when I was in that Pepsi role. Actually, I was the operating president of the South before I stepped into that multicultural. But I met Derek and Pinky at an entrepreneur summit up at Richard Dennis's place. I was actually a guest speaker one night. He had probably 100 people that were in his fund, New Voices Fund, I believe. And so Derek and Piggy were there. They raised their hand like, hey, we're from Atlanta. We're always, getting called by your competitor. We're trying to stay loyal with you, but we need your support. So I went back, spoke to them after the summit, told them I would be in Atlanta. I would spend time with them. I had heard of them, but I didn't really know them that well. So I literally flew to Atlanta the next week, spent probably 2 to 3 hours with both of them all together, but in their restaurants with themselves and understanding their dream and their vision and sort of where they were headed. Got to taste, obviously, the food. Walked away a big fan. I sort of pulled them underneath my wing inside the Pepsi structure. Most notably, took them around to all the HBCUs doing homecoming tours. I brought them along, food trucks, basically underwritten the whole situation for them so people can sample their food, show that they're entrepreneurs that are rising who also care about the community. And so we made it a real full effort, end-to-end effort around certainly the entertainment activation, but also wanted to make sure they got support as Black-owned business, especially coming out of COVID, how difficult that was for many of the restaurateurs at the time, and then showed their bias and commitment to the community. It was a full-scale display of their skills, their ambition, their dream, and their vision, and I got behind them. And so naturally, when I retired, Derek and I always thought about putting cheesesteaks in to Orlando because I'm a big cheesesteak guy. I grew up in D.C., but always when I could eat a cheesesteak, it was a good day because I didn't get to eat the food a lot, but when I had it, it was an awesome meal. I moved around so much, you can imagine I missed that regional food. So when I moved out to Ohio or Phoenix or Portland or Denver, you can't get Philadelphia cheesesteaks out. There might be a mom and pop here and there, but generally speaking, you can't get it certainly a scale like you can in the Northeast. And so I loved his food. I loved the brand of food. Again, I love his purpose. I love everything they were doing. And so I told him, hey, look, I'll put one, give me one to do when I retire just for fun so I can go get my own cheesesteaks when I want. And then he and I got a little more serious about it. His vision obviously is the scale to be, that big time operator. I understand his vision. I can help with his vision. I work in a company all about scale. So, I look at this much more. Certainly, just not only just me having sort of a franchise or franchisee agreement, I try to mentor him in terms of helping him with the scale. And so even my little short time inside, there are tremendous opportunities for us to do things greater and bigger, certainly more at scale. And so we continuously talk and work on those things. Meanwhile, I'm obviously going to get a feel for the business, having some restaurants in my portfolio, but our ambition is to scale this thing up really across the country in many different ways. I created access inside of sports. I'm inside 2 sports venues already, creating a lot of excitement in town. Again, this is based on some of my previous relationships. I'm a big avid sports fan. I'm very connected to sports. We obviously spend a lot of money at Pepsi in the sports world, so I know that like the back of my hand. And bringing that together to create a great fan experience, but also create synergies with sports teams, so you can do consumer programming inside the stadiums and outside in the marketplace. It's just what I do. And so we're reaping the benefit of that now. It's only going to continue to build a lot more awareness for us as we kind of move around city to city to city. But so that's how I got into it. I'm having fun with this. I'm learning along the way. The next set of boxes open, I'll be much better, much more efficient, at it, because I'm a fast learner, as I've been my entire life. And, we're going to have some fun selling cheesesteaks down there because it's a great brand of food that Northeasterners, particularly the ones that live there or visit there, probably don't get too often when they come down there. And there's locals who, I want to create an atmosphere of fun and excitement for them as well.
Yeah, mentorship is important. Relationships even more important. I'm sure you were able to lean on some of those, obviously working at PepsiCo and now as an entrepreneur when you come back into the Orlando scene. I know there's some Orlando legends that you're pretty close with as well. But there's a other part of impact, and that go sometimes where you go to school. So talk about the impact that HBCUs have had on you in terms of mentorship and leadership going on into your professional career.
Look, I'm a hardcore HBCU guy. I wear it on my sleeve. I know I'm a Hampton, the real HU graduate, but I care about all the schools. I did a tremendous amount of work recruiting at a lot of schools outside just the Eastern Virginia footprint where I grew up, in DC where I grew up. I was responsible for signing the first SWAC deal with Commissioner McClellan. We did that back in 2019. They got an extension now that runs out another 6 or 7 years from now. So I feel great about the impact that I have delivered. It's sort of like walking the talk, right? HBCU student. I got recruited off campus to join a big company. It's my job to sort of pay that forward, bring the recruitment resources there, bring the brand activation resources there, bring entrepreneurs there where I can, bring the community effort there, and most importantly, again, just elevate, try to help people understand how important it is for the student experience. We did the first, I think, big band commercial ever, the Sonic Boom and the Marching 100. We did that commercial years ago as well, my marketing team. So, there's always going to be a lean in it. I'm a trustee at Hampton. I'm very close there. I spend a lot of time in the athletic department. I'm still, contributing resources there where I can in other schools. So that's never going to leave me. It's important for people who certainly walk the hallways of HBCUs to really stand up and defend. There's certainly challenges that the schools are having across the board. Certainly fundraising is one of those areas that they're having challenges in. So our job is to continuously try to help push that up and navigate through that, bringing expertise, insights, businesses, and our own resources to the table to help move this along. So, I'm excited to be in the middle of that now. I have more time to dedicate to it. And I'm excited about the future, certainly at Hampton University and other schools that I can participate and work with. It's just a pleasure and honor to do it.
For those who are watching tonight that look to aspire to do what you're doing, how did you structure some of these brand deals? How did you end up having the partnership or the working arrangement with the Orlando Magic? Because I know some people tonight are going to be excited, but if you were starting over from the beginning or you were 1 year in, how would you structure or try and arrange some of these brand deals to come to life?
I think everywhere I approach these brand deals will have to be a win-win, right? And so I think there's a lens we start with the consumer, right? The consumer really is the heart of the matter for an organization, a sports team, and for our company and for a brand, right? And so understanding, it starts with the consumer. Then I think you have a cultural component of that, and that's obviously your associates. That's the team environment. That's the external partnership environment in terms of suppliers. And so how can you bring people to the table who certainly look like you, that are opportunistic? They can become a small company to a big company, and you work with big companies as well. And then you want to move obviously to the community side of it, bringing them along as well. So I think my approach always was a multifaceted approach where we focus on the consumer, and that consumer is the fan, it's the grocery shopper, it's the online shopper, all the people that are going to be sort of help us with consumption of our brands. Then I think you got to think about the cultural component. How do you link, associates, suppliers, groups of people that work together on the business together, brand marketers. And I love this community aspect that, hey, we can't forget about what's most important here is the community as well, and place we operate, play, work in, bring it there. So when you bring a plan like that, multifaceted, that's fully end-to-end and connected and integrated, and you show the ROI that's on that and how the value of partners putting resources together creates more scale and more impact, I think that's a recipe that all partnerships are looking for from brand companies to come in, not just I want to sell my product and get a lot of money or get a lot of sales out of it, but true end-to-end partnership, I think, is going to require looking at it more strategically.
Well, vitally important. I want to thank you for coming on. Before you leave, can you talk about your book? Can you
Yes.
explain that, please?
Yeah, Survive in Advance releases tomorrow. I'm thankful that I have a chance to talk to you all about it today. Really, it's all about, it's a memoir. Really, it's about my journey, a journey of resilience, journey of determination, and a pursuit of dreams, right? Lessons on living life without compromise. I talked to you about sort of, again, bettering yourself, believing yourself, and be yourself. And it starts talking about me as a child when I did not have a lot of resources. I was essentially a dad as a 10-year-old and a big brother to two younger siblings in a house of a single-parent family, my mom. And so there were inherently a lot of struggles with that. I had a dad who had an abuse problem, substance abuse problem, also had other habits that he would pull me along into to sort of help him fuel his substance abuse habit. And so there was a lot of trauma that I had when I was a kid. I know, but I always was able just to see through my surroundings that I can live a better life. I can do better than this. That this by my circumstances now can't define who I'm going to be and who I want to be as I grow forward. So early on, I locked into that framework I talked about and just determined I was going to have a better life for myself and my family. And I paid that forward. I knew it started with getting a great education, that I had to be disciplined about that. Also knew what right was wrong from. You'll see that in the book as well. And so I chose the right. While I was doing a lot of wrong, because I was sort of forced to be doing a lot of wrong, I knew what was right. And I tried early on, saw the signals that you can actually be successful doing right. You just have to work very, very, very hard at it. And you're not going to be an instant overnight success. That's going to take many, many years of building blocks to reach those levels. I was locked in on that at a very early age. And I thank God that I had the ability to see that future as a young child. I paid that forward, went to Hampton, had a great experience there. Talked about, I pledged Kappa there, which also, I think has really helped fuel my life. I didn't know nothing about fraternities at Divine Nine. When I got there, that was a catalyst for my life. I met my wife there. We've been married for 32 years ever since. And we've been on our dream vision together at building family, building community, building our careers. And so that was a great, sort of environment for to be in and really cultivate who I am and made me mature even faster. And then the PepsiCo experience, I was there for 35 years. And so you can see, once I get in, I lock in something I'm in because I'm going to make the best of it. But it all starts with me being the best version of myself. This book gives you valuable lessons, chapter to chapter. All 25 chapters have stories that are told that ultimately create lessons. A lot of the stories in there aren't all about triumph. Some of them are about failure. Some of them about real sad times and dark times and deaths that I had incurred as a young person. So it's just a pursuit, a journey, again, of resilience, determination, and pursuit of dreams. And I encourage anybody, all ages, can read this book and learn something from it, whether you're a young child or you've just retired and everywhere in between. It's something everybody can get out of it. Hope you all have a chance to look at it and read it as well. Congratulations again on your book. And all this stuff does just a callus to keep our generations growing behind us and keep them strong, healthy, and wealthy, like you guys be proud of.
Appreciate that, man. Where can everybody get it?
Well, you buy it. It's available at all online retailers. So, your Amazons, your Barnes and Nobles, Walmarts, all major book outlets have it. And it's available now to pre-order, but it's available tomorrow. So if people order tonight, you will get it shipped to you likely tomorrow, if not the next day. And I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Real Derek Lewis on all the social platforms, and love to hear from people about the book and any way I can help inspire lives. I'm here for it. I'm signing up for it because that's what this Pay Forward Go Giver journey is all about.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Keep up
Thank
the
you so
great
much,
work.
brother.
And yes, we'll be in touch for sure.
All right, my brothers. Thank you so much for what you do. Thanks for inspiring. Keep leading.
Appreciate you. Congratulations again, man.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Another author, man. Congrats on that.
For sure.
Yeah, man. PepsiCo. And ironically enough, we just spoke about that as a dividend stock.
For sure.
Oh, man. Interesting.
All right. Well, another edition of Market Mondays.
We're coming to a close.
Show's over. Show's over. Ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
been happening a lot in podcasting lately. We'll talk Wednesday. Blackout.
Blackout hour. That blackout hour. 10 o'clock. Don't forget, 10 o'clock on Wednesday. And then, of course, we have on Thursday, 9 o'clock.
Yes.
We have Kiana Watson and the things you need to know before buying a home. Vitally important episode.
Yes. Stock Club call Friday at 5 p.m. Central. See you there. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. It was 2.5 hours last Friday.
And then this weekend we got the mastermind. So
Atlanta, we in your area.
ATL will be in Atlanta.
Yes.
So if you've registered for the mastermind, we'll see you. We'll see you there.
And I started some mess online too. Timberland. Esco.
Yeah, man.
It's about that time.
It is. We got any birthdays? Happy birthday. It was Kira. Happy 22nd birthday to Kira. That's my man George's daughter. And happy birthday to Sai. Spence, what's going on? I know his daughter's birthday is tomorrow. Shout out to everybody that is born in the month of January. And then we got February's here, man. February is this weekend.
Crazy.
It's crazy, right? February is
upon us, 7th. My God, time is flying.
It is. My mother-in-law birthday coming up. Happy birthday, Miss G.
Happy birthday.
To my man Sean and Tyree. They lost their father.
Yeah.
Over the weekend. Rest in peace.
Oh, wow.
For sure. Mr. Morris, good dude. So send my condolences.
Absolutely.
To the Morris family.
3B forever. Y'all know how we roll.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Blessings to my guy Wayne Thompson. He lost his mom a couple weeks ago. Go check on your people, man. Like, getting older. This is the part of getting older that's not fun.
Yeah. It's not. This is the part of adulthood that it's like,
yeah.
When
you start parenting and oh man. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Gotta enjoy every moment.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. All right, guys. It's been real.
Can we talk Wednesday on how to keep a partnership together? I'm gonna cut you off, but
let's do it.
There's a lot of breakups happening. I'm like,
first the fat
do tell.
First, the
Last of a dying breed.
Hey, you saw that guy out in Japan?
Who?
Capo.
Oh,
Jomo, big Jomo.
Big Jomo moving around.
Big Jomo moving around. Shout out to Jim.
Shout out to the good brother.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Shout out to Jim. All right, guys, it's been real. We'll tap in with you. See you on Wednesday. Love.
Peace.